let's make some semi-homemade cinnamon rolls out of these crescent rolls. Crescent rolls by Pillsbury are accidentally vegan, so all we gotta do is add a few components to make our homemade cinnamon rolls. For this recipe, you're gonna need 1 can of crescent rolls. There's 8 in here, and we're gonna roll it out flat and kind of smush together all of the creases where it would have been where you cut them into pieces. And this recipe can be doubled, triple, or quadrupled. And I quadrupled it so that I could do this whole box. So when you have it unrolled, all these little places, you want to smush all this together. Just like that. Do the whole thing. Okay, so it'll kind of look like this. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. And then in a bowl, you want to combine 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and half a cup of sugar, and mix it really well. Mine is clumpy because I got a little bit of butter in here, so I just kind of been breaking it up. And then in a bowl, you want 1/4 cup of butter, and then there's also like cinnamon mixed in here, so mine looks kind of funky, but you're going to take your butter and literally just brush it over the whole crescent roll blanket here. Alright, so here's everything covered in butter, and then you're going to take your cinnamon and just sprinkle it all over and get a good layer. And then right before you roll it, I like to pat it, but let me cover this in cinnamon. So once it's covered in cinnamon, I just kind of go in and push the sugar, or cinnamon and sugar, I just kind of go in and push it in and make sure it's like spread out real good. And now you're just going to roll it back the way that you unrolled it. So this can be a little tricky one-handed, so let me put the camera down. And now I have a giant cinnamon roll burrito, and I just kind of shape it. I use both hands at this point and kind of get it real nice and tight and smushed together. And then you're going to cut this into 6 pieces. So I like to cut it in half and then make 2 smaller cuts. And I like to do the ends first or I like to cut it in half and then get rid of the ends and bake those as well. But I like to cut those off first because to me they just look really wonky. And this is what it looks like when they're all cut. I use a steak knife to do this. You just kind of saw through it a little bit. And this is what it looks like. See, this is one of the end ones. So, I mean, it just looks a little wonky. And now these are going to go in the oven for about 15 minutes. While that's in the oven, go ahead and work on your icing. This is 7/8 of a cup, or about 100 grams of powdered sugar. I weighed it because it was just easier than trying to measure it. This is 2 tablespoons of almond milk. I use unsweetened vanilla, but you can use whatever you like. And I use 1 teaspoon of homemade vanilla extract, but again, use whatever you like. And I quadrupled this recipe, so it looks like I have a lot. And this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. They're not perfect, but they sure do smell good, and I know they taste good because I've made this before, and these are always a hit. They are so good. And now you just want to take some of your icing and start drizzling it on. I probably need a different utensil. And you can put as much or as little icing on them as you like. This is my first round. I'm going to let that sit for a second, and then I'll go with a little bit more. And these are going to hubby's work for all of his coworkers. So I'm going to put them on a pretty tray and then cover them with some saran wrap, and they'll be good to go first thing in the morning. And to make them just a little extra special, I added some holiday sprinkles.